Foundation is everything. A story is told of two men who built their houses. One of the men had his house built on the sand, and the other had his house built on a rock. And the rain came down, and the floods came, and the winds blew and were beating on the houses. Let's just say we all know what happened to the one that was built on the sand, right? We all want things done quickly and have that result instantly, especially in this fast paced environment where we have sort of developed a mentality that is driven by the idea that time is money and that every time that I lose, every second that I lose is an opportunity wasted. And with everything rushed, we're used to taking the easy way out by building our houses out of sand and seeing that immediate result. Minor challenges may arise, like maybe a leaking roof, but we often think, oh, I can easily patch that up. I mean, no big deal. But only the wise man with a house that was founded on a rock foresees that he needs to be able to weather through the winds and the storms ahead. He is patient and he is prepared to put in more effort by laying down a strong foundation that can withstand the challenges ahead. Even if a challenge so great as the winds were to come his way, winds that could potentially cripple him, he can stand it because he knows that no blow is too heavy for him to absorb. His foundation is solid. A wise man establishes his house on a solid foundation, on a rock, because foundation is everything. With that in mind, on this video, we're laying down that foundation on some of the psychologies around business and success. Like one of the two men, it is very easy to think and to jump into any business venture without a proper foundation or a proper understanding of what it takes or what is needed. And when those challenges arise, it then becomes even more difficult to comprehend, why am I not getting the results that I hoped for? What are the building blocks? What are the principles that one needs to be aware of when you decide to take up any business venture?
A big part of business and everything that we do is the psychology and the mindset behind it. There's a piece that I've developed. It's called the 4 phases of implementation. So whatever people are doing in whatever venture, if you start thinking about your own situations and things that you have done and how they have followed these 4 phases of implementation, because within the 4 phases, there is difficulties and things that come up that prevent people from breaking through from one phase to another. I'm gonna talk you through the 4 phases and the missing pieces within that to take you from what we call transformation into excellence. Yeah, because excellence is the zone where the successful people live. But if for you to get there, to climb the ladder, you have to go through a number of phases, which begins with the transformation. So if we take the 4 phases of implementation, I'll just go through this quickly. So the first is what we call the euphoria stage, which is the phase one. This is the concept of a new idea. So just like here, last time when I was here, we talked about business and property and all of that, and there was quite a bit of information there, which was new. Some of it was new for some people. That created a bit of euphoria and excitement that, oh, wow, property is quite exciting or business is good. And there was quite a lot of oomph of people, yeah? That was quite an exciting. So in that phase, we call this unconscious incompetence. So there's things that you didn't know or people didn't understand. So obviously they were not conscious of it and they didn't have the competence for it. So when you are in this euphoria, there's a lot of excitement. So what happens is for you to get into the next phase, which is the epiphany phase, yeah, you find that this is where you encounter the resistance. So now you understand there's property. You can make money, for example. In property, you can reach financial freedom and independence. But come to doing property itself, you find there's things that are difficult to do. You have to get deals, it's difficult to get a mortgage. Sometimes you have to spend time and invest in your knowledge. And that can create some sort of fear and resistance and procrastination and things in people, because now they are conscious of what they can do and achieve in property, but they don't have the competence to actually go and do it. So you are in a phase of conscious incompetence. So you are aware of what can be done, but now you need to build yourself up. So if you don't have the right techniques and the right tools and the right processes to actually take you to break through into that epiphany stage, this is where the shiny penny syndrome comes in. People will find that they're actually doing of it is quite difficult, and you have these limiting beliefs that it's not for me, it's difficult, I can't do it. Then you fall back into the euphoria stage, because now you go and look out for something else. Maybe someone comes and talks about, Bitcoin or some other investments, then you are also again so excited. But then you get into the epiphany stage in that venture, you find that again there's challenges, it's difficult to do. You fall back into the euphoria stage, into something else. This is the zone that most people find themselves at. They can't break through into anything. They are into a number of different things, but it's difficult for them to actually get to progress into that one thing because of that resistance that they find. But if you can find the formula and the reasons why that happens, which we'll share in a sec, that can take you into the evolution stage where you break through into success. So you start getting some results. Maybe you get a property deal, then you can see that actually these things work. Or in whatever venture you're doing, you start getting some results. But then even once you do a little bit or more of that, you can reach a plateau whereby now you lose a bit of direction or where you need to go. And again, you need some other uh, things to actually take you and build that momentum into the next phase, which is the excellence phase as well. So in that stage, for example, here in the evolution stage, now you're conscious of what you can do, but you're now developing some competence. Yeah. So you've done maybe some trainings, you've had some results. Now you are in a situation of conscious competence. Now you understand how things go. Now the next stage, when you build momentum, you are in that unconscious competence stage. It's like driving a car. Most of us, probably most of the people here already drive a car. But if you look back and think to when you started learning to drive a car, you've seen people drive a car and they're just sitting there, moving the steering wheel, changing gears. It all looks very easy. But the first time you step into the car yourself to learn, you find that, you put the gear and probably the first thing is the car stalls. Yeah. And now you get that epiphany, that understanding that, this thing is actually not that easy. You have to develop the actual balancing of the car and start learning. So you're in the conscious incompetence, you drive and then you build up some experience, you're in that conscious competence stage. And then how many of you now driving a car, you probably find that you move from A to B and you don't realize how you even got there. Through the traffic lights, you change the gears. It's just now unconscious competence because you've done it so many times. It's like you don't have to think about it anymore. That is the level of excellence that you need to strive towards in your businesses as well when you're doing things. So if we go through the introduction here, the fundamentals of getting unstuck, from moving from the euphoria into the epiphany stage. So success is like an iceberg here. So what people see, you look at people who are successful, the big guns like, the Elon Musk or, the Amazon dude, Bezos and Richard Branson and all those people, success. But the real things that really happen are underneath the surface, all the risks, the focus, the persistence, the failures, the action, the sacrifice, and the habits that they've developed and the hard work. It's all behind the surface. So that's one thing to understand as well for people. Yeah. How many probably of you have seen the film The Matrix? Probably quite a few people have seen The Matrix. There's this a scene in there whereby I think Neo was given the choice of taking the blue pill versus the red pill. Yeah. So if you take the blue pill, everything is all nice and rosy. So as people, we think that for entrepreneurs who take the blue pill, they believe a comfortable lie and that knowledge and theory is enough to get you results. Yeah, as long as you build knowledge, you're good. But the actual red pill entrepreneur knows that you actually need to develop a system, because in the red pill, actually, uh, you are venturing into the system of the unknown. And then, when Neo took actually the red pill, he found that there was a big world out there, and we were actually in a world whereby, humans were being harvested as fuel for some machines that is out there. But that is almost an uncomfort, and stepping outside of the comfort zone. It's a red pill versus the blue pill scenario. So you get a lot of comfortable lies in most situations about business and a lot of things that you do, like, but the unpleasant truths are the ones that you need to get through to understand about business. Yeah, like where they say knowledge is power. Yes, knowledge is power, but if you have knowledge and you don't apply it to anything, it's just as useless, and sometimes it can even be dangerous. So if knowledge is power, the reality is implementation is the superpower. So